Okay, back on the 504 here. Got the TA slapped back in it. Gotta tighten the bolts up here in a minute. There's a seal here, here, and then there, in here, and then there's a seal right here. 3 seals. If you're gonna take this apart, probably a good idea to replace them. There's a dry clutch right here for the TA that sits in there, and there's a weep hole down in the bottom. Let the oil drain out if one of these seals happens to start to leak or something. And it does. I mean, they do leak because I think that's what the problem is on that tractor, and it gets worse as it warms up, which it makes sense. The oil gets warm and probably more slippery or something. I don't know, but TA slips on that one. And I have a feeling that's what's happening. Is that disc is one of these seals leaks and disc is slipping. But anyway, you put this seal in so that the oil, well, you got to face it so that the oil's to keep the oil back here, and then this one turns around the other way so that the oil stays back here. But you drive them both in from this side, and make sure you got plenty of grease on that seal, because it was kind of tricky to get it up in there because it's kind of a steep hump on the shaft or on the carrier to get through that seal. So that's what we're gonna do here. Let's see. Alright, got that in there. Those are 3/8 coarse thread. See what torque they're supposed to be at. Yeah, I think they're grade 5. Yep, grade 5. Coarse thread. 30 foot-pounds going into cast iron. So, that book's pretty handy. I got it in school, and it tells all sorts, a bunch of information on fasteners and fittings and all sorts of crap. On metric and standard bolts and torquing them and whatnot. I've probably said this before, but it's always good to back your torque wrench off to the lowest setting. You don't want to back it all the way out, but you just back it. Like this one goes down to 10 pounds, so every time I'm done using it at night, I back it down to 10 pounds, and say they keep their torque better that way. That thing usually goes to about 30 or 35 foot-pounds of torque at that little impact. Tightening, but this is pretty critical on housings and stuff like this. So I usually run the torque wrench over it instead. If you're putting sheet metal on or something, that's fine, or bolting the steering column down or whatever you're doing. Or even the top cover bolts, that's not terribly critical. It's this stuff here that holds the drive components. But anyway, look through here and make sure I didn't miss anything. Alright, got everything in there the way it's supposed to be. This is the carrier for the clutch disc there. And it just sits in here like kind of get on there. So I get a little tight coming off of here. I think they all look the same. Just get a nice sharp taper on it. These hammers are pretty nice, just a dead blow, and they're just a plastic thing, and they got the sand in the head, but pretty nice for stuff. You can hit stuff like this and it isn't gonna hurt it. Oh, that's about on there. Alright, now this lock nut washer deal here goes on in there, and this nut goes on, spanner nut. Now, I'm not sure how much room I'm going to have for a socket. I had to make this wrench here. I didn't want to buy a spanner wrench for one-time use, and didn't want to wait for it to get here either, so I just took a piece of pipe that was the same size as the nut, welded some key stock onto it, and now I got to weld a socket on because I wanted to get that on there and see how much room I was going to have, which I'm probably going to have to cut a socket so I can get 3/8 in there. And that thing just sits on there like that. I think it turned out pretty nice personally, but pretty nice for a cobbling job anyways. Alright, got the socket welded on the end there, set up for 3/8 drive. I had to shorten up the socket a little bit. I keep old sockets, you know, if they split, or, you know, I'll buy it. Said a lot of times you could find a piece of equipment or something's got, or buy a piece, got cheap Chinese sockets laying in it or something, and I'll buy it, and, or, you know, I'll just keep those sockets around for stuff like this. They didn't give a torque spec, which I hate these spanner socket or spanner nuts. They're just a pain in the butt. They never stay on the socket or on the nut very well. You know what I mean? It's that way whether you got your own bought a socket or you got your own or made your own. They just don't. There's just not enough to bite there. Let me try something here. They didn't give a torque spec on that, so I'm just gonna snug it up to about how loose it was when I took it off. They got that lock washer to hold it anyways, or the locking ring. See if I can run this one-handed or three-handed circus here. There, probably torque to at least 30, not 40. I would guess from my precision arm torque wrench, built-in torque wrench, for those of you that don't know that. Now, gotta hope that one of them little tabs is lined up at the slot. Gotta figure out a way to get behind it there and bend it over, and I'll come back to you. Alright, got that torqued in there and tab was lined up and it bent over real easy, so happy about that. Washer goes in here. That sits on there like that. Little mess of grease right there. A mess picked up. Okay, now. Oh crap, I've got one other thing I gotta do first. Forgot to mention, I put the clutch in. That side, the hub side, goes towards the front of the tractor. Now I stamped one of these with a punch just to keep it in line in case it needed to be in line. There's my punch mark. And there's my other punch mark. I don't remember what the heck I did with all the little bolts. Did I leave them laying? Yeah, I did. I took all that apart while it was still bolted on the tractor, and I realized I had to split the tractor to get the TA out of there to get the parts to clean it up. Alright, got the clutch in there and torqued it up. Audible note here. If you don't have a shop manual, it'll tell you, it tells you this. There's a little hole here that goes into this red piece. It's got threads, and then there's you're supposed to run a 5/16 bolt. 5/16 bolt is about a 3/8 of an inch long. Little short ones, they tell you, but I just washer the bolt up because they don't got much threads there. You just need a few threads into this to clamp this plate down to keep the springs compressed so that all doesn't fall apart and everything when you take it out of there. But it's just a tidbit note there. Alright, you get that in there, and then these, left them over here too. Yeah, I did. Little keys here, little 1/2 keys were a booger to get out of here. They weren't sticking up very much, so I couldn't get side cuts onto them to really get them pulled out. And you gotta pull them out to get them out this way. Make sure I'm not missing anything. I don't think so. There it goes. All that once. Get that thing kind of pried over. Alright, I got the shift fork, or the clutch forks in here, the release bearing. Another thing I do left to put the input shaft in, and I'm not sure. It's got that O-ring there, and I'm not sure if I've ordered that. I think I did, but I'm gonna have to go back and look. Supposed to be getting more parts tomorrow, so I'll have to just see what I got. Now you can see it all turns good, and the sprag clutch, don't let it go back the other way. So I think that'll probably about do it here. I'm gonna do some more cleaning on it, and then bolt it back up the housing. So thanks for watching.